It was a hot, sticky afternoon in Willow Creek, the kind of day when the sun feels like it's sitting right on your back. And all Marcus Freeman wanted was a little peace. He had just moved into the fancy new neighborhood, a quiet cul-de-sac lined with big houses and even bigger egos. After years of hard work, sacrifice, and sleepless nights, he had finally earned it. A dream home, a fresh start, but dreams in certain zip codes come with invisible lines. Lines people like Marcus aren't supposed to cross. Marcus headed down to the community pool that Saturday, wearing a plain t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. Nothing fancy, just a man trying to enjoy his weekend. But before he could even dip his toes into the water, he heard it. The sharp voice of entitlement cutting through the humid air. "Excuse me." He turned to see a white woman, sunglasses too big for her face, clutching a designer tote like it was a weapon, storming toward him. "Karen, you know the type." "You don't belong here," she snapped, voice dripping with disgust. "This pool is for residents only." Marcus, calm as ever, simply smiled. "I am a resident," he said, holding up his new key card. Proof. Undeniable. But Karen wasn't having it. "I'm calling security," she barked, pulling out her phone like it was a badge of honor. "Better yet, I'll call the police. You people think you can just sneak in anywhere you want." You people, two words that hit harder than any slap. Marcus could have shouted, could have cursed her out, could have caused a scene, but he didn't. Instead, he sat down on a lounge chair, leaned back, and waited. Because he knew something she didn't. Something that was about to turn her whole world upside down. Minutes later, two police cruisers pulled up, lights flashing, sirens cutting through the quiet afternoon. Neighbors peeked out from their windows. Phones started recording. Karen stood tall, arms crossed, smirking like a queen about to watch a public execution. The officers jumped out of their cars and approached Marcus. "Sir, we received a complaint about trespassing," one of them said, hand hovering near his holster. Marcus didn't flinch, didn't stammer. He simply reached into his pocket and pulled out his badge, a gold shield that caught the sun just right. One word engraved across the top in bold letters, CHIEF. The officers froze. Karen's smirk melted right off her face. Marcus stood up slowly, towering over the situation. "My name is Marcus Freeman," he said, voice cool and steady. "And as of 2 days ago, I am the new chief of police for Willow Creek." You could have heard a pin drop. Karen stammered, stuttered, tried to backpedal. I didn't know. I was just trying to protect our community." But it was too late. The truth hung heavy in the air. The officers apologized, to Marcus, not to her, and asked if he wanted to press charges for harassment. Marcus looked Karen dead in the eyes, and for a long, heavy moment, it seemed like he might. But instead, he simply said, "No. Let her live with the shame. That's punishment enough." Because sometimes the loudest revenge is no revenge at all. Narrator. News spread like wildfire. By sunset, the whole neighborhood knew. The scary trespasser at the pool wasn't a threat. He was the man they would soon be calling for help when real danger came. The very man Karen tried to humiliate was now the highest authority in the town. Talk about tables turning. Judging someone by the color of their skin can leave you blind to the content of their power. And sometimes the person you fear the most is the very person sent to protect you. But little did Marcus know. Not everyone in Willow Creek was ready to accept him wearing that badge. Not everyone was willing to let go of the old ways. And as the sun set behind the trees, a shadowy figure watched Marcus from across the street, phone in hand, voice whispering into the darkness. "He's not going to last here. I'll make sure of it." In a town built on power and privilege, sometimes the real fight is just beginning. After that day at the pool, Marcus Freeman thought he had proven his place, thought he had silenced the whispers, thought respect would follow. But respect doesn't grow where roots of hatred run deep. And in Willow Creek, those roots went all the way down to the bedrock. It started small. A late-night patrol request here, a concerned citizen complaint there. Always about him, always questioning why he was there, what he was doing. At first, Marcus brushed it off. Part of the job, he told himself. Part of being first. But soon the attacks grew bolder. One morning he found "Go back where you came from" spray painted across his garage door. Another night, his car tires slashed, the police cruiser untouched. And the worst part, quietly, methodically. Every case dismissed without cause. Every complaint swept under the rug. Every officer with a history of misconduct, but somehow still wearing a badge. Marcus documented it all. Every ugly secret they thought would stay buried. And then, he called the state attorney general. 1 month later, it was their turn to feel the spotlight. State investigators swarmed the Willow Creek Police Department. Files seized, computers confiscated, interviews conducted. One by one, the old guard fell. Suspensions, firings, even arrests. The so-called good old boys club collapsed like a rotten house of cards. The same people who had laughed behind Marcus's back now stood silent before him. The same officers who doubted him now begged for his forgiveness. Karen? She was forced to move out of Willow Creek altogether, not because Marcus had punished her. No, because no one in town wanted to associate with the woman who had called the cops on the chief. Marcus didn't celebrate. He didn't gloat. He just got back to work. Rebuilding the department from scratch, recruiting young officers who believed in justice, not in power or privilege, holding community meetings, listening to the people who had never been heard before. Slowly, Willow Creek began to heal, not because Marcus forced it to, but because he showed them what real leadership looked like. Leadership isn't about having the loudest voice. It's about having the strongest heart. It's about standing firm, even when the world tries to break you. Even when the world wants to break you, it's about turning hate into hope. Marcus Freeman taught Willow Creek a lesson they would never forget. That respect isn't given because of the color of your skin, or the title on your door, or the money in your bank. Respect is earned by walking through fire and coming out stronger on the other side. Months later, during Willow Creek's annual Freedom Parade, the mayor called Marcus to the stage, handed him a plaque of honor. The same crowd that once doubted him now rose to their feet in a standing ovation. Tears welled in Marcus's eyes, but he blinked them back. Because this wasn't just about him. It was about every black boy who had ever been followed in a store, every black girl who had been doubted at a job interview, every black family who had been told they didn't belong. It was about showing them and the world that they did, and they always had. When you stand tall in the face of injustice, you don't just change your own life. You change the lives of everyone who comes after you. Real power isn't about making others fear you. It's about making others believe they can be more. Marcus Freeman believed, and now so did Willow Creek. Change doesn't come from comfort. It comes from courage.